I wanted to draw a picture that describes effectively the false left-right paradigm. The Republican Party props up the Democratic Party, and the Democratic Party props up the Republican Party. By itself, a single-party system will fall over. But if you take the two-party systems and you lean them up against each other, this is basically the arch. Their force going together keeps them together and makes it become a very strong, stable platform on which they can build their hierarchical New World Order system. So the current two-party system has been dominated and bought up and controlled by the elite that sits atop it. Now, the elite with a one-party system would not be balanced on top of one party. They would be subject to being toppled. But you put the two parties up against each other, they form a royal arch. And now it's very hard to separate those two because they're leaning up against each other. And so Republicans attack Barack Obama. And then the Democrats attack John McCain. And then the population who's down here is trained to see John McCain as representing them personally, as being their daddy, of where their personal power comes from, of their camp, their brand name, their brand of soda. And so this is a controlled paradigm. And really, it's one unit supporting themselves and containing revolution so that the people who are down here never learn that there is a world outside of this controlled paradigm. We are locked within the left-right paradigm, and then it becomes this huge pageant, this huge distraction where we analyze every facet of the two political parties, never realizing they themselves are simply a front or puppets for a larger power structure. And then they can limit the scope of differences, which, if you look at it, there's almost no difference between the two, instead of getting the people to look outside the box at the wider world.
Welcome everybody to the Nightly News with Dan Bidondi right here on TruthRadioShow.com. Today is September 26, 2022. So what's going on, everybody? See people piling in the chat, guys. So we do got a live chat. So if you're watching from a third-party site, log on to your YouTube channel and take place in the live chat. So we got some news to talk about today. Got Russia preparing to use nukes. Yeah, they're calling to use nuclear weapons. World digital currency and ID are coming, and we've been talking about this for literally over a decade, how they're transitioning to the universal digital ID identification in the currency and all that. So no more paper money, no more coins and all that, no more gold, no more silver, physical, gold and silver anyway. And also we're going to talk about Bloody Chicago weekend. We do this every Monday. It's sickening. The mainstream media doesn't acknowledge us, but they'll acknowledge, somebody gets shot, which, is wrong. Somebody gets shot in some state or wherever the case, but they don't acknowledge the mass murders literally in Chicago every weekend. Dozens of people get shot in the city of Chicago, strictest gun control city in the country just about, and it completely goes unacknowledged, And the mainstream media doesn't even pick it up because it's just common now, but they'll, again, if there's a shooting up the street from your house and 3-4 people get shot, that's national news. It's sickening. So let's take ShakeandWakeRadio.com for carrying the show, and also BeforeIt'sNews.com. I'm a contributor writer for them, so please check them out. All the links here, guys, are in the description. And so if you missed Spiritual Warfare Friday, guys, we had a great show. Me and Brian Reese, we've been rocking the Spiritual Warfare Friday. Show we had was called Bigfoot and Mysterious Creatures That Roam the Earth to This Day. And we did 3.5 hours of an awesome show. So we took phone calls and all that stuff. And if you're looking for the show from 2 weeks ago about Nimrod and the Tower of Babel, they took it off YouTube because they claim it was a copyright issue. So I contacted the copyright owner, and hopefully could resolve the situation. They could put it back on. I did get a copyright strike, which I didn't know when we were making the trailer for the video, whatever the case. But anyway, it's in that video, so they took it down. So hopefully they could put it back up. If not, guys, if you go to our Rumble channel, it's on there. So, we got to just work that out. That's all. So hopefully, I contacted the owner. So hopefully, we could resolve that situation and get that video back on, because that's one of the best shows we ever done. Actually, the last 3 weeks, the best shows we ever done for the Spiritual Warfare Friday. So what's going on, everybody? Lariva, Pamela, who else is here? Sam, Joyful One, and Richard. And I kind of forgot to send out notifications for the show today, so I do apologize. So I wanted to address this real quick. This was a book here. So my wrote called "The President Donald J. Trump, the Son of Man, the Christ," okay, which is pure blasphemy. It really is. Pure disgusting. And it's pure blasphemy, if you ask me, because this is just sickening that this book even exists. And this book here to say that Donald Trump is the Christ. And they're trying to say that when Jesus talked about him returning, there's two Christs. That's what they're trying to say. So let me get to the author of this book here. So this is where the book came from. And it's complete blasphemy. I did talk to the author of this, and I told him I'd debate him. He goes, "Oh, well, that'll be awesome to debate." So this guy's a clown. That's what he is. So he says that, which it says here, during the presidency of Donald Trump, it became evident to me that the prophecies about the Son of Man, as predicted by Jesus in the Bible, were to a significant extent fulfilling the hands of Mr. Trump. So basically, long story short, he's trying to say that the Son of Man and the Christ are two different people, the Messiah. That's what he's trying to say. That's what he says here. This Bible speaks about two different Christs or Messiahs, Jesus, the Son of God, and also one Christ, where is the Son of Man. So we all know, okay, anybody who knows the Bible knows that the Son of Man and the Son of God is the same person. It's Jesus. It's not two Christs, not two Messiahs. So he tries to, of course, manipulate the Bible, and the fools who listen to him, it's Helgad Mueller, okay, that's the author of that, the fools that listen to this guy that don't know the Bible. And this is a hot-selling book, and a lot of people think he's the return of Christ, you know what I mean? It's not true. Jesus does not come back in the flesh, and especially to a presidency, So, yeah, this is the ratings for this book here. That's just 2-star rating. That's what it is. 80% said, they don't like the book. So that's good. At least, most people, 35 global ratings. So, yeah, so far most people don't like the book. Good. And they shouldn't, because that's pure blasphemy. And if anybody claims to know the Bible, man, they think that's true. And unfortunately, some Trump supporters believe that. Same thing with Biden supporters and Obama supporters that think they were returning the Messiah. The Son of Man and the Son of God are the same person. The Bible makes that very clear. Jesus has many, many, many names and titles through the scripture. You know what I mean? With the sacred name people, too, they go wild with this stuff. To say it's only one way to pronounce his name, no. It's like, plain and simple, the Son of Man, the Son of God is the same person. He's got many names, the Messiah, Emmanuel, so many names and titles that Jesus has. The King of Kings, the Lord of Lords. And so if this is the case, right, he's going to say there's like several messiahs. That's where these people go. And the thing is, they probably know this, and they probably do this purposely to mislead people. And this Helgad Mueller, again, I contacted him on Facebook, and I said, "Dude, I'll debate you any day and time." And he goes, I sent him something, the fact of the matter, that he would look forward to that. That's because what it is, it'll be is free publicity for him. And he knows damn well, okay, that he debates anybody that knows the Bible is going to school him, plain and simple. And these people do this strategically, too. And they don't care what they do in the debate. Their point is they want to sell a book. And it's disgusting that they would make money off blasphemy. You know what I mean? And the thing is, this guy's going to have to answer to God, man. Because there are some people out there who believe this. I was at a Trump rally, man, and I heard one woman say that he's God. And I'm like, wow. Well, it's like, lady, you're clueless, plain and simple. He could, I'm not judging the man, but the thing is, there's not one person in the earth, even myself, okay, or my son, or anybody that I love, okay, nobody deserves even close to remotely being called the Messiah, but Jesus himself, plain and simple. And the Son of God and the Son of Man, Mr. Helgad Mueller, is the same person, not two different people. So I would strongly advise him to retract that book and everything, and that's what he should do. But you know what? God's the judge. That's for sure, man. So let's just jump into some news here. So Chrislam confirmed, led by Pope Francis, leaders of the world's religions formally adopt human fraternity document at the 7th Congress. We talked about this last week. So I just wanted to bring this back up again because it depends what channel we're on. And by the way, if you want to save the channel confusion, guys, if you go to TruthRadioShow.com, we post all the shows where we're going to be broadcasting. So, this YouTube channel is looking very dim right now, man. We're heading on by a thread. So because we got copyright strikes, all of these strikes going on right now, and any day they can shut this channel down. So we always encourage you guys to go to our backup channel, and please do that. And speaking of that, let me just put that in the chat room here because, this is... Hang on 1 second. Let me just get to my channel, and I'm going to put this in the chat. So guys, if you're watching, just take a second. You're not going to miss nothing. I'm going to put that in the chat. So what you do is you click on that link I put in the chat room there. Click on that link, and you go to my other channel there. All you do is hit subscribe, then you hit the back button twice, and it comes right back to where we are now. So just take 30 seconds, guys, to do that. Hit the button to subscribe to that channel. And because, again, if they shut this down, we're going to have to be off that channel, you know what I mean? And we're also on Rumble as well. But just click that channel, guys, and subscribe to that channel. So, so this was September 17th. So with adoption this week that the 7th World Religious Congress of Human Fraternity document created by Pope Francis and Mohammed bin Zayed, Chrislam is now official one world religion. So what this is, it's official. Chrislam has now been codified and ratified with the approval of the 7th Congress of the leaders of the world in traditional religions. So this is a conference, of religions. They all got together and say, we're going to push this. And since Christianity and Islam are the two biggest religions in the world, besides Judaism, they want to merge it all together to say we all serve the same God, and that's not what the Bible says. So they go on to say that in the human fraternity document created by Pope Francis of the Vatican and financed and promoted by Mohammed bin Zayed of the UAE, questions that guess who they forgot to invite to the festivities? And the answer is Jesus Christ. His name appears nowhere and is never mentioned in any of the documents. And the Bible says when they call for peace and security, then, the sudden destruction will come upon them as a travel upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape. This is 1 Thessalonians chapter 5 and 3. So they're saying regardless if Pope Francis does retire or not, he's setting up the biblical antichrist religion. You know what I mean? What the Bible talks about. Because at the end times, it's going to be a one-world religion, and that's what they're saying, a one-world religion. Yeah, the Bible says that anyway, I'm sorry. And it's happening right now as we speak. It's a one-world religion to usher in the Antichrist. And and I know there's a lot of people think this is all a joke, whatever. No, it's nothing to joke about. Plain and simple. Whoops, hang on 1 second, guys. I messed up my screen here. So this is something that you need to pay attention to. And people will say, I don't follow religion. Well, guess what? It follows you. You know what I mean? So it's something you're not going to escape. Regardless of what you believe and how you believe, you know what I mean? You're not going to escape it, plain and simple. Because this affects you big time. Because it's going to come a point in time, as the Bible says, and what they're pushing, if you don't worship this religion, guess what? In the Antichrist come, you got to be beheaded for it. So you're going to be forced into this. So you better stop making a choice now. Follow the real God of the Bible, all these clowns here. And another article here about Chrislam. Again, Chrislam means Christianity and Islam merged together. It's confirmed now, led by Pope Francis and the world's religions, formally adopted human fraternity document at the 7th Congress. And with adoption this week, the 7th World Religions Congress and human fraternity document created by Pope Francis Mohammed bin Zayed, Chrislam is now the official world religion. So this is like just about the same article here as this WordPress one. So that's what's going on. And again, it's been codified and ratified by the Pope himself and all that. So, and I don't know why the people look to the Pope as some kind of world religious leader, man. This guy is blasphemous, okay? Not just him, but every Pope along with him. And the Bible calls these people antichrist. That's what they are. You know what I mean? They're Babylonian religion leaders. That's what they are. Nothing to do with Jesus Christ. They are not the Church of Jesus, plain and simple. And so, switching gears here, this is kind of funny because the video they just took down, a video we did about the Washington Monument, which was Nimrod, the rise of Babylon, basically. And the show they just took down. So the new Babylon, the rise of Nimrod, or the resurrection of Nimrod, that's what the show is called. So we talked about the Washington Monument, but I just wanted to bring this up because I thought it was kind of funny. So a man painted vulgar message on a Washington Monument, official said, and he's been arrested. So let me see if it shows it here. This is what happened. Have you been effed by this? Yeah, that's what it says here. Oh yeah, have you been effed by this? Or it says tough schnit, so whatever that means. So then of course people blaming Trumpers and all that, It's stupid. Trump supporters, again, I don't agree some of the stuff they don't say, but the thing is, they, unlike Biden supporters, they don't destroy stuff. You know what I mean? So this is just a person just screwed, just pissed off. That's all. But in other words, have you been screwed by this? And the government says tough shit. Excuse the language. That's what it says. Have you been screwed by this in the clean way? Have you been screwed by this? And the government says tough shit. So, and the thing, screwed by this, you mean effed by it? Yeah, literally, because that's what it is. It's a giant golden penis. That's what it is. It's Nimrod's golden penis. And you gotta ask yourself, well, I thought it was a Washington Monument. No, it's nothing to do with George Washington. This thing was, the original monument for the Washington was scrapped because Congress couldn't afford it. The Freemasons took over the project, built this. This is a monument in resurrection of Nimrod, which is known as Osiris or Gilgamesh or Adonis. Whatever you want to call him. Okay, this is to resurrect him. He was a former leader of Babylon. And it's not a coincidence that this thing here, this monstrosity, is 555 feet tall from the ground up, 111 feet tall going from the ground underneath, which is 666, 666 feet total, and 555 is resurrection numerology, occultic numerology for death and resurrection. Not a coincidence, you know what I mean? So that's what this was erected for, because symbolically they want to resurrect Nimrod. Well, not symbolic, literally they want to resurrect Nimrod. And the penis thing comes from his wife, Semiramis, which was his mother. Sick, huh? So he was married to his mother, and they had a son called Tammuz. So anyway, she made this phallic symbol because his body, when his Uncle Shem killed him, because he was a tyrant, you know what I mean? So his Uncle Shem killed him and scattered his body parts in the Nile, and she recovered everything but his penis, you know what I mean? So, and she claimed to get pregnant off this phallic symbol. Not this one in general, but you know what I mean? So the whole story goes, we covered that in our show, so we got that up on the Rumble channel for now. Hopefully it'll be restored. I did contact the owner of the copyright thing, so hopefully they do restore that video. But yeah, have you been screwed by this? Yeah, exactly. That's what that is. I mean, you can't get any more point to that. So whoever did this knew exactly what was going on. You know what I mean? I'm surprised they didn't blame us for that show we had. To tell you, to be honest with you, but yeah, and it's so true too. It really is. So, and I don't know what the guy's name is, but yeah, regardless, whatever. So, it was a 44-year-old man from Bloomington, Indiana, was charged with trespassing, trampling, and vandalism, according to Park Police release. It's funny how they charge him, though, right? But they didn't charge no Black Lives Matter or Antifa for destroying hundreds of monuments across the country that are more important than this. Yeah, so that's how that goes. So the FBI SWAT raids a home of a Catholic pro-life activist in front of her screaming children. So the kids were all just screaming. It was just very scary and traumatic, says the wife. And of course the FBI will go after people like that, but they don't go after the people who are like literally attacking pro-life people, the pro-life centers and stuff like that. They're destroying and vandalizing these centers, and not one indictment, not one arrest, or nothing like that. But yeah, because a guy defends himself, yeah, he gets arrested. It's sickening. So, a prolific Catholic pro-life activist was subject to a full-bore SWAT raid Friday under the order of the Attorney General Merrick Garland's Department of Justice. It was Mark Hawk, the founder of the president of the King's Men, a Christian group that helps men overcome pornography addiction, was arrested at Pennsylvania home for allegedly violating the freedom of access to clinic entrances. Yeah, just, they were charged for standing in the way of the walkway, whatever the case of abortion clinic. And he gets his door kicked in by the feds. But yeah, the other opposition, they get to go spray paint, they get to break windows, firebomb pro-life centers, attack people physically, even in some cases kill them, but not one indictment, nothing like that. The FBI's been doing this for a while now. And Hulk's wife, Ryan Murray, told Lifestyle News on the 25th and 25 to 30 armored FBI agents accompanied by a dozen vehicles stormed the property early in the morning with rifles drawn and 7 children screaming in terror. And please, I'm going to open the door, but my children are in the home. So she's trying to tell the FBI this, and they just raided the damn place like this guy was a terrorist. All because him and his guys stood in the way of people going into an abortion clinic. I can see them getting a warning by the police. Hey, guys, listen, you can't stand in the way, obstruction public property. That's one thing, right? But to get the FBI, that's just ridiculous. But yeah, it's okay for the opposition to go bust and destroy pro-life centers and attack people. That's fine. You know what I mean? And they destroy government buildings and all that. That's one thing. Yeah, but these guys didn't do nothing. They get the door kicked in by the FBI. Unbelievable, man. So check out this new logo here for National Intelligence Manager for Aviation, a laser UFO in the official seal. So this is the official seal of the Office of Director of National Intelligence. It's an aviation symbol. And look, a little flying saucer there. So I just wanted to bring that to people's attention. So not a bad new logo for the National Intelligence Manager for Aviation. It's a laser UFO in the official seal. Radical still, I can't believe they did this. So this is funny. But that's the actual official logo. And they got a little UFO flying saucer in there. Are they trying to tell us something? Yeah, no, we cover this all the time. Yeah, they're slowly indoctrinating people into this coming so-called alien invasion, which the Bible says are unclean spirits. That's what they're doing. You know what I mean? That's why Space Force is there and everything else for. And the UN's like, hey, we're going to agree alien life. That's what they're saying. You know what I mean? They got a UFO alien ambassador to agree alien life. That's what they got. And the Pope's even saying, hey, we're going to baptize them, which we know these things are demonic creatures, So you got a shock video here. Child strokes drag queen's groin during provocative dance performance. So here we go with the stuff going sickening, man. And the fact they want to spread their legs for kids should make people very angry. You should. But it's clear to everyone that something is wrong with this. Where's law enforcement? Yeah, check that out. Little girl doing that to this grown man, right? But they'll kick this guy's door in for standing at this walkway for a abortion clinic. And they'll send the FBI, but yeah, this is okay. Sexual grooming of children. Look at these kids. You know what I mean? And, that's disgusting. And this guy here, he thinks he's a girl. He's getting groped by a little girl. And disturbing video out of Tennessee shows a child stroking the groin of an area of a drag queen performer as other children watch provocative dance routines. And this was in Chattanooga Pride Youth Day at Wonderland Brew Company. Over the weekend, shows a child curiously stroking the fabric near the crotch of a smiling drag queen dressed as a Little Mermaid. Part of the world from the Disney's, that's just disgusting. There's the video. Let me mute that because I don't want to get copyrighted again. Look at that. Imagine doing that in front of kids. That's freaking disgusting, man. Get this fat slob showing his groin to kids. And it doesn't matter if it was a real woman or not. You can't be doing that. Like right in front of kids. It's disgusting. This is horrible, man. It really is. That was Chattanooga, Tennessee, by the way. Look at the parents. Oh, so cute. Ooh, so cute, so cute. Oh, man. Yeah. I got to watch what I say, man. This is disgusting, really is. So, yeah, it's all about sexualizing children. That's what it is. You know what I mean? Well, it's okay. They grab the crotch of an adult human being, adult male. Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, and no FBI, no nothing. Yeah, it's just, it baffles me, man. This lawlessness everybody gets away with it. But, yeah, somebody defends themselves or something, they get in trouble for it. Unreal, man. And Bill Maher, who's a comedian talk show host, he says, Ontario teacher with huge prosthetic breasts obviously needs help. So we showed that last week. If the picture's in here. There's a teacher, where the heck is it? Right there. That teacher we reported last night, it's a guy that got prosthetic breasts, nipples and beam right through the shirt. You know what I mean? And so Bill Maher made a point about this, okay, and it was his Friday show, Real Time. Bill Maher says his teacher's behavior is clearly inappropriate and that he obviously needs help, and couldn't understand why the school thinks a male teacher flaunting gigantic prosthetic breasts in class is okay. And this is a real person who's really a teacher.
Would be to do something about this shop teacher in Canada with the giant tits. Have you seen, this is a real person who's really a teacher. You didn't read about this? Okay, her name is Kyla Lemieux. She's in, Oakville. I know Oakville. I love Oakville. That's in Ontario, Canada, which is a big blue state to the north. And she just transitioned about a year ago, and she insists on wearing these enormous prosthetics. I mean, you saw the picture. I haven't seen anything like this since Jugs Magazine. You remember Jugs Magazine, John?
Yeah.
We used to have a subscription.
Yes, under the mattress. I will say, though, there is a case to be made about victimhood, about the back pain that she probably has each and every day.
Okay, so this is what in Oakville, they completely stood by her. The school district talking about equitable treatment without discrimination. Yes, we're all for that. Without based not upon gender. Yes, identity expression. We're all for that. Regardless of race, age, ability. Ability, I don't know what they mean by that. If they mean you're in a wheelchair and you get equal treatment, of course. If they mean you just...
So he goes on to talk about that. And yeah, he's right. It is disgusting. That guy needs help, And here's the thing, if you're an adult and you want to do that, I don't agree with it, but it is your business, but you can't be flaunting that stuff around kids. Even if that was a natural woman, you can't be doing that. It's disgusting. And these people don't understand that, they think it's, diversity or whatever, to teach kids diversity. I'm sorry, because we don't want our kids being exposed to people showing their crotches to them. I don't care if you're gay, straight, bisexual, whatever you want to be, right? You can't be doing that to kids. And you should be charged for indecent exposure to children. Plain and simple. That's just bottom line disgusting, man. And it has nothing to do with it. And they'll turn it into if you disagree with them, you're a bigot or a sexist, whatever they want to throw at you. The thing is, that's child pornography, right there. It's child molestation. It's just all together. It doesn't matter who they are, guy or girl, whatever. It's like you can't be doing that to kids. It's just utterly disgusting, man. And these people need to get their faces punched in them. Oh, man, I tell you. So, I guess switch gears here. So, all Florida state of emergency as dangerous tropical storm strengthens to become a major hurricane soon before impacting the state. So, we've been talking about this for a while. Like possible hurricane coming up to, it's a tropical storm Ian right now. It's not ruled as a hurricane or anything, but it is coming up to Florida. And people... You should see the videos that the people at Costco's, at these big department stores, just like buying the place out, They're preparing for a big storm. So everybody needs to pray for the people out in Florida. And yeah, it's coming right up through the Gulf of Mexico, and it's going to hit the west side of Florida. So it's probably Tampa Bay region and all that stuff. So they said about Wednesday, 8 o'clock. So we'll see what happens there. So right now the storm is right about in near Cuba, so it's supposed to hit right up over toward Florida. So, and hopefully it diminishes. It looks like it's picking up. It goes from 1, 2, 3, category 4, and expecting maybe a category 5, or hopefully just diminishes by the time it hits Florida. So we'll see what happens. But just guys, keep an eye out in the field from Florida, guys. Just batten down the hatches, and like they say, and just pray. That's all. Get your stuff right. Get stuff, water and food and all that stuff, and just wave up the storm. And I know this is typical this time of year in Florida anyway. September, October, that's when it's called hurricane season for a reason. You know what I mean? So hopefully it doesn't turn into a hurricane, but we'll see. You know what I mean? So check this out. This is we talk about how the World Economic Forum wants you to eat bugs, right? This is kind of funny. Mosquito burger and conga cakes, conga mosquito meat. So that's the Congos, I think it is. So I'll just play the video here.
You ever heard of gunja cakes?
Ganja cakes?
I'm sure people are going to get this confused. If you look it up, it's basically mosquito hamburgers or mosquito meatloaf. And in certain regions in Africa, there's certain tribes where in these areas, the density of mosquitoes gets so thick that they get these pots and they just swing it around and they start gathering mosquitoes. And it's so dense. The mosquito population is so dense that they can gather enough to make patties of mosquitoes.
Yeah, an American apparently actually tried it too. And he said it was kind of weird taste. He said it had like a fishy meat taste, like raw meat almost.
Yeah, so
you remember the situation with him.
yeah, so would anybody try that? Mosquito patties? Yeah, nobody in the chat room there. What's up, Valerie? Thank you for moderating the chat. So, would anybody out there try that? Yeah, hamburgers made out of mosquito. Yeah, but it sounds funny, but that's what the World Economic Forum wants you to eat. And I guarantee they're going to start doing the stuff over here if they keep pushing this garbage up here. Mosquito patties. That's gross, man. They're made out of mosquitoes. Imagine the disease are in there because, mosquitoes, obviously live off of people's blood and animals and all that. So imagine eating other people's blood and all that. It's disgusting, it really is. So California legalizes human composting. So, when you have a compost, if you know what that is, we have one in our yard. So basically a human composters, we take banana peels, onion peels, eggshells, just, food, leftover scraps, whatever you throw into a compost, and it creates a fertilizer for the garden, you know what I mean? So it's all your scrap foods and all the peels and all that stuff. Instead of throwing in the garbage, you take it all and you put it into a compost outside. So, usually a bin or something in soil. So what it does is it fertilizes the soil. It creates its own fertilizer, so you don't have to go out and buy it. And so that's what that is. So now they're saying, California is going to legalize human composting as a burial alternative. So the Catholic Church is strongly opposed to this practice, and so, which I kind of agree on that, they should be opposed to this. But California Governor Gavin Newsom, a Democrat, recently signed a bill that will allow the practice of composting deceased human beings in order to combat climate change. It was Assembly Bill 351, will give California residents the option to give their remains over to a process known as natural organic reduction, and if they opt not to be buried or cremated. So in the process, it involves placing the body inside of a long, reusable steel container along with wood chips and flowers to aerate it. It allows microbes and bacteria to break down the remains, and reportedly Daily Mail 1 month later, the remains will fully decompose and be turned into soil. So instead of being buried, cremated, whatever the case, and they're saying like you can take your relative's body, throw into a composter there, and then you can use that soil, the fertilized soil, to grow your carrots and tomatoes and potatoes and all that stuff. Yeah, for me, so basically you're beating your relative's dead bodies eventually. You know what I mean? So what do you guys think of that? Let me know about that, because that's kind of weird, man. It really is. And to me, like, a human body is a body. I mean, it's the soul's not there. To me, what happens to my body, I could care less. I mean, they could feed it to dogs, as far as I'm concerned. If I'm not in my body, it's not used to me, But, to be used as fertilizer for food, it's a little weird, you know what I mean? But that's California for you. So a poll here that plurality of swing voters backed down, that's our Governor Ron DeSantis from Florida, flying illegal aliens to Martha's Vineyard. So it's an island right off here of Massachusetts, Rhode Island. So it's actually technically Massachusetts, but Swing voters support Republican Governors Bushin and flying illegal aliens out of the states to sanctuary cities such as Florida. Governor Ron DeSantis recently migrate flight to Martha's Vineyard. So Martha's Vineyard is a very, very expensive place. I mean, I used to work for an airline called Cape Air in Nantucket Airlines. So what they do is they fly people out to Martha's Vineyard in Nantucket, the two big, celebrity islands out here in New England. And the prices are ridiculous. And this house right here in the picture, I mean, that house you could probably get at least $2 million for it because it's on Martha's Vineyard. You know what I mean? Your house you live in is probably what, $200,000-$300,000. Okay, that would be worth about $2 million on Martha's Vineyard because it's on Martha's Vineyard. Yeah, people go over there. They make these weaving baskets over there, and they pay ridiculous amounts. I think the cheapest one is about $10,000 for a woven basket because it's from Martha's Vineyard. You see the snoots getting off the plane. You know what I mean? When I work for Cape Air with their baskets, showing off their baskets and all that, they go up to hundreds of thousands of dollars. It's just ridiculous, really. Yeah, so Obama's got a house on Martha's Vineyard. So, yeah, in Martha's Vineyard, they were bragging about, we're a sanctuary city for illegals and, all that stuff. They're welcome here. They've been saying that for a while. So, of course, Ron DeSantis ships the illegals from Florida over to Martha's Vineyard. You guys are a sanctuary city? Here you go. So the YouGov poll reveals that 44% of swing voters said they support governors like Ron DeSantis and Texas Governor Greg Abbott, pushing and flying illegal aliens into the states to be sanctuary cities like Chicago, New York, D.C., and Rhode Island here too, and Massachusetts and Martha's Vineyard. Yeah. So that's what's going on. They come over the border, and of course, Biden administration, they're pushing them into the red states because they're hoping to use them to become voters and, turn the states blue. But, Texas and Florida, it's like, no, we're not going to do that. So you guys are sanctuary cities, guess what? We're going to ship them to you. And the thing is, they shouldn't be allowed in the country anyway, unless you go through the legal process. You know what I mean? I have no problem, because my grandparents on my father's side, they came from Italy. You know what I mean? They went through the process. They worked their butts off to get here. And when they got here, they worked even harder. You know what I mean? So that's, for these people coming here illegally, it's a smack in the face to everybody that's come here, busting their butts to get in here in this country and then busting their butts to work in this country. That's just a smack in the face to them. That's what that is. But they'll say, come on in over the border illegally, and they don't pay for nothing. We got to pay for it all, and that's just wrong on every level. So what we're going to do now is go to a break, and so we're going to go to a quote of the day brought to you by MidstateGuns.com. It's Rhode Island's largest indoor shooting range. It's located in Coventry, Rhode Island. And Thomas Jefferson says, what country can preserve its liberties if its rulers are not warned from time to time that their people preserve the spirit of resistance? Let them take arms. In other words, let the people take arms. That's what he's saying. And what that means is, because what's going on today, all the crap that's going on, the government needs to be warned time and time. Hey, listen, you're not taking crap. You're not going to do crap, okay? Leave our liberties alone, plain and simple. And if you're a Democrat, Republican, Independent, everybody who loves liberty, okay, our Constitution should be behind that. It's nothing to do with political parties. This was established long before these parties came along. So, and it's just disgusting. People turn into a political issue. It really is. So let's go to break here, and we'll be right back. Let me get to my videos here. So this is one from Greg Reese of Infowars.com, Abomination of Justice. And this is the whole Sandy Hook stuff that's going on in Connecticut right now, the court with Alex Jones. And this is a kangaroo court, man. These people are literally trying to just drain Alex Jones. Now, regardless if you believe, you side with Jones or not, okay, this is a direct attack on free speech, is a direct attack on the Second Amendment as well. And it's horrible, it really is. And then they exploit the deaths of children to push gun control and attack free speech. That's the more disgusting part of that. The very gun rights that would have saved kids' lives. You know what I mean? Sickening. So we'll be right back.
3 decades of deep research condensed into one book, The Enemy's Battle Plan to Take Down Humanity. This book is critical to stop their agenda, and it's now available at InfoWarsStore.com. The Great Reset and the War for the World.
The biggest concern for the judge in the Alex Jones trial is for the jury to see through their deception. So before the jury is allowed in, she clearly reminds Jones how he's not allowed to defend himself.
There's certain areas that your attorney is well aware of, as is opposing counsel, that are not going to be asked about and cannot be testified about. And I'm more than happy to go over, it's a very short list, and I'm more than happy to go over it with you if you want me to, but if you don't want me to, that's fine too. I'm simply trying to avoid any issues in front of the jury. I don't want to have any unpleasantness. There's no other way to put it. So that's why I'm willing to do it if you want me to do it, but I don't have to do it.
Well, please do, Judge, because
okay, that's enough.
My lawyers, they've told me about that.
The yes was enough. That's all I need to know. And the lawyers know not to ask you these questions, so the only way there would be a problem is if you gave a non-responsive answer. So if I just go over it briefly, I don't think we're going to have any problem at all. So the lawyers are not going to ask you about, nor can you offer any testimony about, the plaintiff's settlement with the former defendants, Wolfgang Halbig and Corey Sklanka, the Soto versus Bushmaster case, and who the plaintiff did not sue. So I understand you may not agree with those rulings, and this is just a yes or a no answer. Do you understand that you may not testify on those topics?
Yes.
Okay. So there can be no testimony, and there's not going to be any questions, obviously, regarding the maximum amount of Sandy Hook coverage on your shows or the percentage or proportion of Sandy Hook coverage. Yes or no? Do you understand that that's not testimony that you can offer? You're not going to be asked about it, and you can't offer it.
Yes.
Good. Okay. You may not offer testimony, and you're not going to be asked about whether you substantially complied or you produced everything or that you challenged the basis for the default ruling. All of these issues may be the basis for an appeal, but they're not going to be asked, nor can you offer that testimony. Do you understand that?
Yes.
Okay. Finally, the First Amendment is not an issue in this hearing in damages. No one is going to ask you about the First Amendment. This is not the appropriate forum for you to offer that testimony. Do you understand that, sir?
Yes.
All right. Is there anything that prevents you from understanding what we just talked about?
I understand, as long as they don't ask those questions.
Right. They're not going to ask you those questions. If they did, I mean, they're officers of the court and they understand the rulings, so they're not going to ask you those questions.
After attacking free speech system's all-American business model, the plaintiffs then focus on a single video that went viral 10 years ago, featuring Robbie Parker. This video was played on InfoWars because it was a viral video, which alone made it newsworthy. Once the plaintiffs established that InfoWars played this video, they dramatically introduced an emotional Robbie Parker in the courtroom. The cameras move in for the close-up, shaking with emotion by the mere presence of Alex Jones for playing a viral video. As far as Alex Jones's crimes, it's not clear what their claim is, but their argument is clear. According to the plaintiffs, alternative media should not exist and should not be allowed to report the news. Reporting for InfoWars, this is Greg Reese.
If this is true, then our country is in a lot of trouble.
We would have these trips. special trip. But he said my daddy takes the bodies to the grocery store and he grinds them up and puts it in the hamburger. And nobody ever knows it.
How can kids 6, 8, 10 years old be describing rituals that come from a book like the Book of the Dead? It's hard to get your mind around people being capable of this kind of evil.
This is Dan Bidondi of TruthRadioShow.com. I am honored to offer my listeners a 1-month free subscription to nystv.org. Subscribers will have access to thousands of NYC TV videos from spiritual warfare to biblical and occultic topics, banned from YouTube videos, and much more. Subscribe today on nystv.org and use the promo code DANTheMan and receive your first month free. And welcome back, guys. So, that's... yeah, so basically, I've been watching these court things. They bring my videos up all the time in the courts. I had HBO here last week to do a documentary on this and about the whole Sandy Hook stuff, and also some media from... Europe, I forget the name of the company there, here a couple months ago, talking about, doing, what's going on and all that. They did a documentary with me there as well. So basically, what this judge does is like when important stuff comes up, they dismiss the jury to get out of the room, right? So they bring the important stuff up and show videos and all that, so the jury can't see these things. So they only bring the jury in when they're executing Alex Jones. It's unfair. It's disgusting. Half the video, they see some of the videos and half the videos they don't, because the videos are very informative and they don't want it trickling the minds of the jury people. So they manipulate the jury, and they can't do that. It's illegal what they're doing. The jury's supposed to be above the judge, you know what I mean? So when these certain things come up, they dismiss the jury when the jury's supposed to watch everything. They're supposed to see everything, hear everything, and watch everything so they could determine a decision, right? They're not doing that. They're dismissing the jury for certain things, and the lawyers should be on top of this. Like, we're not saying nothing. If the jury's not here, we're not saying nothing. That's the point of a jury, so the jury can make an informed decision, not the judge. That's how it goes. You know what I mean? It's right in the Citizens Handbook. I have one somewhere, but it's basically it's your Constitution what a jury should do, and it says the jury is more powerful than the judge at the point. The jury is the authority of that court case. So, but the judges manipulate the jury to make it sound like they're in charge when they're not, you know what I mean? And so again, in this whole Sandy Hook lawsuit thing, when it comes to important information, they say, oh, hold on. All right, jury, you guys could go take a break or you dismiss. And then they discuss that information that, because the thing is, if the jury's seen that information, they would make a conscious decision to say this whole lawsuit is bullcrap. Nothing to do with defamation and all that stuff. Nothing at all. It's attack on free speech. That's what it is. You know what I mean? It's disgusting. It really is. It makes my blood boil. It does. They don't want to drag me into that courtroom, I'm telling you right now, because I'm not going to tolerate that crap. It's just disgusting. It really is. That they're sitting there exploiting children to attack free speech and gun rights and everything else. And that judge is like, oh, it's nothing to do with free speech. Yeah, it is something to do with free speech. Because if they honored free speech, they wouldn't even be there. It doesn't matter what, somebody has if they newscaster, right? The mainstream media every day lie. They get people killed all the time. They lied about weapons of mass destruction. They lied about babies being killed in incubators to get support to go to war. And there was no babies being killed in Iraq. There was no weapons of mass destruction. The government finally admitted it later. But they used these lies, perpetuated these lies to get public support to go to war. 9/11 comes, and all of a sudden we get diverted from Afghanistan to Iraq. Nothing to do with 9/11. Afghanistan didn't either, but regardless. And they sparked all these lies, and that's why I was dragged on CNN early last year, I think it was. They dragged me on CNN because CNN was launching a new network, CNN Plus. It was a paid network, which flopped. But they brought me in. We did a whole 2-hour documentary. I sat there for like 2.5 hours, being interviewed by Kurt Devine, a reporter there. And we got to an argument basically on the show, talking about the Sandy Hook stuff and gun rights and all that stuff. And of course, they didn't air it, of course. So it's disgusting that. And I told him, it's like, you people, you going after Alex Jones, you want people like us off the air, but yeah, it's okay for you guys to spew out bullshit, excuse the language, about weapons of mass destruction that would never happen and anything like that. That got thousands of our troops killed, countless thousands of innocent men, women, and children in the Middle East killed every day. To this day, I'm sorry. And billions of dollars of our taxpayers' money that went into these unconstitutional wars. But yeah, Alex Jones, he didn't get nobody killed. He didn't get nobody hurt. But yeah, let's go after him and shut him down. But no accountability for the mainstream media. And some other stuff I want to say, I can't say on YouTube here, that, yeah, the mainstream media, how they get people killed. Yeah, I could go on all day with this. You know, millions of people have died because of the mainstream media. But there's no accountability. But yeah, because Alex Jones has an opinion about Sandy Hook, and he's got a right to. You know what I mean? And, you know, regardless what these Sue happy people have to say, you know what I mean? And it just makes my skin crawl, does it? It makes my blood boil that, you know, this is the way they're going. You know what I mean? To shut down independent free speech. That's what they want. They don't want you to even talk about the media unless you're AAP certified or you belong to a mainstream media network. You know what I mean? Bull. You know, the First Amendment of the Constitution of Freedom of Press doesn't say you have to be a part of an establishment. You know, and that's not how it works. It's any inquiring citizen. That's what the press is. Any inquiring citizen that wants to report on what's going on. You don't need to go to school for it. There's no requirements to do anything like that. If you're an inquiring citizen that say, you know what, you want to make a blog or a newspaper or anything like that, you know, radio show, you have a right as a press. You know, plain and simple. They don't want that. They want controlled establishment, Operation Paperclip type stuff. You know what I mean? It's sickening. So, speaking of unconstitutional wars, we got this whole thing going on. And, of course, it's scaring everybody. You know, Ukraine and Russia still going at it. You know, they should have been over a long time ago. But because of NATO, that's why it's not over. Yeah, and if NATO didn't get involved or anything like that, they would have never been an issue. They would have resolved things, worked it out. But, you know, of course, NATO and the United States likes to instigate stuff. And that's why where we are today. So now in New York, they're doing nuclear attack subway signs in New York City. So imagine that in the subway. I tell you the truth, I wouldn't even want to, in New York or Los Angeles, I wouldn't even want to step foot in the subway. I remember years ago when I was married, back in, it was 2006, it was on the show Divorce Court. They flew us out to Los Angeles, and I don't know why I even did that, but yeah, they paid us to go out there. And so we did it, and it's all staged, by the way. The show Divorce Court, it's all fixed and staged. So they flew us out there, right? And they had us in separate hotels. So I went to go see my wife, and so I hopped on the subway in Los Angeles, and it's about 8 o'clock at night. It's dark, all right? And I'm like, wait a minute. I'm sitting there, and, you know, thinking to myself, I'm in the subway in Los Angeles. Thinking to myself, an earthquake happening any moment, anything, and I'm going to be stuck down here in the subway. You know what I mean? And I'm like, yeah. And I took the cab back to the hotel, man. But I tell you, yeah, that was a scary situation, man. But imagine that, you know, New York or Los Angeles, and a nuclear bomb goes off. So you got to I can't even say that term. All right. I'm trying to say that word. Decontaminate, all right, yourself and others for radiation emergencies. What should I do? So I hate Mondays, man, because like we work all week with shows and everything else, and you're all fired up and everything else. And Saturday comes, you take a whole day off. Sunday, you take most of the day off, and here we are, Monday night. You gotta go right back in the nick of things. So and Monday's my warm up day. So yeah, they want to take off all your clothes and throw them in a bag. Yeah, outer clothes anyway. So take off all your clothes, wash or shower. How are you going to wash the shower in the subway? Is there showers in the subway now? Yeah. Is there water fountain? I don't know. But anyway, that's what they want. They're putting the stuff over everywhere. Basically, what this does, it creates some, and most people don't even look at this, but it's in the subconscious level. They'll put the signs up and all that because it creates that paranoia. If you're seeing warning signs, you know, decontamination signs and all that stuff, yeah, it creates that paranoia in the subconscious level. And these news signs are just months after the New York City officials the emergency management, is that version of FEMA. On July 11th, we actually showed you this, guys. We'll do it again, yeah. There's plenty of time. This was a commercial, PSA, that he had in New York City.
So there's been a nuclear attack. Don't ask me how or why, just know that the big one has hit, okay? So what do? There are 3 important steps that I want you to remember. Step 1, get inside fast. You, your friends, your family, get inside. And no, staying in the car is not an option. You need to get into a building and move away from the windows. Step 2, stay inside. Shut all doors and windows. Have a basement? Head there. If you don't have one, get as far into the middle of the building as possible. If you were outside after the blast, get clean immediately. Remove and bag all outer clothing to keep radioactive dust or ash away from your body. Step 3, stay tuned. Follow media for more information. Don't forget to sign up for Notify NYC for official alerts and updates. And don't go outside until officials say it's safe. All right, you've got this.
So they put that out back in July, and so they're starting to put these signs all over New York. You know what I mean? And it's like, are they trying to tell you something? Yeah, the Big Apple is going to be the big A for the atom bomb. I don't know, man. That's crazy. So, yeah, it's like it builds fear on a subconscious level. This is what it does. You know what I mean? And that's what they're trying to do. You know what I mean? So, and regardless, we get attacked by, and I'm not saying we can't. Of course we can. You know what I mean? We could very well get attacked by a nuclear bomb from anybody, from us or whoever. You know, our own government. But yeah. Possibilities are real, especially in a big city like that, especially New York or Los Angeles, big cities like that. Those would be big targets. Chicago, of course. You know what I mean? Chicago, Los Angeles, and New York, 3 of the biggest targets that, you know, I mean, anybody in the right mind strategically, if they wanted to attack the United States, those 3 cities would be the biggest 3 targets. That's just given, especially New York City. You know what I mean? That's just given, you know? So, yeah, so, I mean, of course, it's good to be precautious and all that. And first of all, if you live in New York City, man, I would say get the hell out of there. I wouldn't even live there. You couldn't pay me enough to live in that dump. I mean, if anybody's been through New York City, you see all these bright lights and big buildings. Yeah, but behind the bright lights, okay, is a bunch of dirt, you know what I mean, dirt bags. And, not the people, just the people run the city. And, yeah, some of the people there, too. The whole city's just a giant dumpster. That's what it is. And there's some of these apartments, man, they're like literally half the size of the studio, and they're getting $2,000-$3,000 a month, at least, and that's minimum. You couldn't pay me $2,000 to live in that rat hole, that's for sure. So yeah, I could only imagine, okay, if it's an event of a nuclear war or whatever the case, right? You being in New York City, couldn't even imagine. How would you even survive that? So anyway, Pink Floyd co-founder calls out censorship over Ukraine. So reported by Russia Today, the banned Russia Today news. So news outlet had suggested that Roger Waters' gigs in Poland had been canceled over his stance on the Ukraine conflict. Yeah, because nobody's allowed to have their own opinion. So Pink Floyd co-founder Roger Waters has denied media reports that he had canceled 2 concerts in Krakow, Poland. He accused the local authorities of censoring him over his criticism of Western involvement in the Ukraine conflict. And he's right. We have mind our business. It's nothing to do with us. I say that all the time. But he's saying, they're accusing him of, because to cancel his concert, whatever. Because he criticizes the West being involved in the Ukraine conflict. Yeah, and it's none of our business. That's the other side of the ocean. Which is our business? We got so much stuff going on in our own country right now. We have, plus the money on top of it. How about we mind our business, take care of our own self first? That's a starter. But that's somewhat what he agrees with. But yeah, they criticize him because of that. But I guarantee if he came out to say, we got to support Ukraine, they would run his name all over the place, make him look like a hero. And this guy's a rock star, and he didn't even want to get involved with this. I sing music. I don't care about the politics stuff. We have no business being over there. What's wrong with saying that? But again, if he sided with the stupid war, yeah, no, of course, they make him a hero. So he says, your papers are wrong in the assertion that I or my management has canceled my forthcoming shows in Krakow. We haven't. So they're giving rumors that the shows have been canceled. And he goes, no, we didn't cancel the concert. And so they had to put out post correction. Roger Waters didn't cancel his gigs. So he went out to confirm, however, that the council in the city of Krakow, and I can't pronounce that, whatever the case, but yeah, put forward a motion to declare Waters persona non grata, according to the musician. And so because of my public efforts to encourage all involved in disastrous war in Ukraine to work towards negotiating peace. So he's saying the people should just go to peace and stuff, And again, if he was supporting the war, oh yeah, they would make him look like a hero. You know what I mean? Like, and it's discussing what they did too over the last year since it's been going on now. Chess players, the Cat Federation, the World Cat Federation banned all cats from Russia. The Boston Marathon this summer, the early spring, I'm sorry, they didn't want nobody from Russia running the race. The World Cup said Russian teams exempt from it. I mean, they're out of the World Cup because they're from Russia. Is that right? You know what I mean? Regardless if you believe, you side with Russia or Ukraine, doesn't even matter. Russian people, Ukrainian people should not be exempt out of each other, races or competition. It's nothing to do with that. Remember that world chess player there? They asked him, it's like, whose side you picking? He was from Russia. Whose side you picking on this war? And they say, I play chess. I don't get involved with politics. I don't care. And they kept pressuring him. Well, you better answer because we're going to kick you out of the chess federation. And he goes, of course, I'm going to stay with my government, with Putin. And, of course, they kicked him out of there. You know what I mean? And it's like they drag people and stars and politicians and stars and, musicians and all that, sports stars and all that, and dragging in that has nothing to do with what they do. They compete and all that stuff, and they have nothing to do with the politics of the country. You know what I mean? So, the Boston Marathon, I think they should be sued. Everybody else should be sued that says we don't want Russian people in the competition. It's nothing to do with anything. You know what I mean? That's discrimination, it really is. You can't discriminate people because of the choices of their government, If that's the case, why don't, look at all the stuff this country has done. So, should our athletes be excluded out of things? Look what China's doing to their own people for years. Crimes against humanity. And China makes Russia look like saints. The Chinese government. We ain't banning Chinese people. And we shouldn't either. But again, the people should not be punished for the choices of their government officials. Regardless of whose side you're on or whatever the case, the people in these countries should be treated equally, plain and simple. It's nothing to do with their government. They don't make does Roger Waters make any decisions for any country? No. He sings songs. Did the people from Russia that compete with, the cats in the competition now, do they make decisions for Putin? No. Did the people running the Boston Marathon, do they make decisions for Putin? No, they don't. So, it's just dumb, it really is. And it's just a completely exile entire culture of people. That's what it is. But yeah, if you do yourself, right, you say this one in that group or that group, whatever is bad people, oh, you're a racist, you're a bigot, this, that, and the other thing, you know what I mean? But it's okay for them to have Russophobia. So Poland begins handing out iodine pills on fears of Ukraine nuclear plant meltdown. And they're also worried about the nuclear power plants being bombed from Putin. So the threat of nuclear fear is all over the world. And especially, here's the thing, too, and you got to really think about this. Where you think Putin would actually nuke Ukraine, maybe the southern areas, or small bombs, but he's not going to desolate Ukraine. Because that'd be like us desolating Mexico. That fallout's going to roll right into Texas, right into the southern United States, right? That'd be pointless, or us desolating Canada. The whole north, east, and west and everything else will be gone. With the radiation poisoning and all that. So, you got to really think about that. Ukraine's right in the crypt up right inside of Russia there. And so if they hit nuke Ukraine, Russia's going to take the fallout of that. And so is the surrounding countries. So if anything, and I'm telling you right now, if any of these power plants blow up or whatever, be assured because the Ukrainian government that did that. And they're going to blame Russia for it. But Russia is saying, listen, you guys better back down too because, because right now their backs are against the wall. And they're going to say, which we're going to get into in a minute what Putin said. But yeah, so Poland has begun a program of distributing iodine tablets to emergency workers and first responders, starting with regional fire departments who can hand them out to the general public in the event of a possible radioactive disaster at Europe's largest nuclear power plant. And it was a Polish deputy minister first announced the plan on Thursday, warning the possibility of a dangerous radioactive exposure and continued fighting of the neighboring Ukraine, where technicians of the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant continue the struggle to maintain safeguards. So, yeah, which spreads fear around the people in Poland. So Poland's right up there. You got Poland, Ukraine, and Russia, and Crimea, and all those countries like right there. So everybody, if nuclear, a bomb was to go off or an attack like this, all those countries will surround that. So, and I'm telling you right now, if this power plant does explode or any other in Ukraine, more than likely it's going to be because of NATO. Nobody else. It's called a false flag. That's what it'd be. So, warning that graphic horror, Ukraine soldiers decapitating, cooking, and eating human heads of Russian soldiers. Soldiers. Yeah, soldiers, not shoulders. I say that sometime. Man, I tell you. But, yeah. It's kind of weird. Look in the pot there. So Ukrainian Nazi soldiers are decapitating, cooking, and eating human heads of Russian soldiers they kill on the battlefield of Ukraine. And this is the face of what America, Europe, and NATO are supporting. Now, if y'all remember, man, for decades, even the biggest publication magazines reported this, newspapers and all that. Ukraine is still the most corrupt country in all of Europe. For decades, the most corrupt country in all of Europe. People forget that, though. Yeah. Look at that. That's crazy, huh? That's actually a Russian head in that water being boiled. And, of course, the guy's got to show off doing the chef thing, dropping salt down the arm into the food. That's nasty if you think about it, right? Those guys that do the steaks and all that stuff, the steak chefs and all that, and they take a pinch of salt and go like this, and it comes down the arm. It's like, I don't want salt on my meat from your sweaty ass arm. That's disgusting. Yeah, but whatever the case, but yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, and this is what that support. All these countries are supporting. And please note, during the last 7 days of each calendar month, the website and radio show. I'm sorry for the Hal Turner show. My bad. That had something to do with this. But yeah, this is the Hal Turner show reporting this, by the way. They're cooking Russian soldiers' heads in the food. Bugs are one thing, but yeah, that's disgusting. So, 83-year-old pro-life activist shot in back while canvassing Michigan. So the elderly lady was shot while she was leaving the residence during the heated conversation. So this 83-year-old woman was shot while canvassing in support of a pro-life legislation in Michigan. So a pro-life activist volunteered with Right to Life Michigan to help to go door-to-door, knocking on doors there to discuss the state's upcoming vote on Proposal 3, which seeks to protect abortion access in Michigan. So, yeah, this woman shot an 83-year-old lady, right? But we just read earlier in the first half of the show how it was a Catholic priest who led this group against abortion, right? And they just blocked the way of people entering an abortion clinic. That's all they did. They didn't cause no violence or nothing. And next thing, he's got 30 FBI agents pointing guns at his face, kicking the door in. You know what I mean? And they'll kick the door and they'll send feds for something like that. But where's the feds for this? How come the feds didn't kick this person's door down that shot an 83-year-old girl? A pro-life activist. You know what I mean? And this is going on all over the country. I should add this article with that one. But again, what I said earlier, man, these pro-life centers that being firebombed, vandalized, attacked, destroyed, right? And nothing's getting done. The people leading it and taking videos of them doing it, and the FBI ain't even looking into that. But yeah, you go stand in the way of an abortion clinic, the FBI's got to kick your door open. The same thing with the January 6th stuff. You know what I mean? They go after everybody to do with that, but they don't. The Black Lives Matter and Antifa, who destroyed half the country, killed cops and hundreds of federal buildings, destroyed or vandalized, and police stations. Yeah, not one indictment, not one single indictment. But yeah, because a couple of rocks got thrown out a window in the Capitol building, and it spooked the scumbags in Congress and Senate. Yeah, we gotta go to these people's house and intimidate them with the SWAT team. Yeah, that's the current administration, man. That's supporting lawlessness. But yeah, you stand up for something that's right. You're the one who gets arrested. So switching gears, guys, Chicago shootings, 38 shot and 7 fatally wounded in weekend violence across the city. So 7 people died, 38 people shot total in the weekend of Chicago. As we report this every week, and the last week was like 40-something people, week before it was 52 people. I think the numbers are staggering. And here we are, it's September 26th, and well over 100 people have got shot in the city of Chicago. And you think, like, when you see a mass shooting on the news, right? Just, God forbid, today, just say, I don't know, a supermarket got shot up, right? 12 people got shot, right? This would be headline news all over the world, right? This is normal in Chicago. 38 people the whole weekend. That's worse than mass shooting. It makes mass shootings look like a walk in the park. Every weekend this happens, especially in the summer. Well, yeah, again, I gotta, I hope I don't sound redundant, but I have to say this every week, man. Chicago always proves that gun control does not work. And at least 38 people have been shot. 7 fatally wounded, fatally shot, not wounded. They were shot and killed. And it goes out on all the, the shooting reports and all that. So if you go to this website here, it's heyjackass.com. It's a website, the funny name, but they keep up with all the Chicago crime statistics, and it comes from Chicago Crimes, that files there. So basically, this week's total, September 18th to the 24th, which they didn't upgrade the weekend yet, so regardless, okay? So September to date, so just here we are, September 26th, right? 26 days in September here, right? 332 people were shot in Chicago. Over 300 people shot just this month alone. 59 people killed. We don't have 59 people being killed a month in these wars going on. We got more people being killed and shot and killed in Chicago than there is with these unconstitutional wars of our own soldiers. So something's got to tell you, you know what I mean, that gun control does not work. And what do the officials do? Oh, we got to call for more gun control. You can't get any more gun control than you already have. And it was funny, too, because Chicago, the officials are actually looking to Providence, Rhode Island, because even regardless of stupidity that goes on in Providence, relatively, we have a very low crime rate when it comes to firearms in the state of Rhode Island, you know what I mean? And they were looking to us to see what are we doing good, you know what I mean? And the thing is, really, we have a pretty decent, we could be better, pretty decent gun rights here in Rhode Island. Even though right now they're trying to ban high-capacity magazines and whatnot, we're actually fighting that in court, and hopefully the courts will overrule that. So, but up until now, at least, we've had some decent gun rights here in Rhode Island. It could be better, like I said, and Providence, we got stabbings and all that stuff going on, and it's like, we have shootings too, but it's not as bad as these other places, So Chicago's actually looking to Rhode Island to say, what are you guys doing right? Well, stop. Tell you for the first one, Chicago, you need to stop infringing on your citizens' rights to keep and bear arms. Allow women to get permits. They shouldn't even have to have a permit. Guarantee if you lifted that right now to say, open carry in Chicago. You don't need a permit, and now citizens go out and buy a gun and carry a gun, right? The crime rates would drop. Because these criminals now that running rampant, put yourself in the mind of a criminal, right? If you wanted to be the most effective, right, where would you go? To a city that has no gun rights for citizens. So you could go bust in this guy's apartment, this is his house. The chances of them having a gun is very, very limited. So you feel like you're empowered, like you're Superman, right? Now go to a state that open carry, almost everybody carries a gun. What's the chances of you breaking into somebody's house? Unless you know they're not home, whatever the case. But what's the chances of you breaking into somebody's house and, going to mug somebody? Very slim, knowing that, well, man, if I go to a carjack, this guy's going to shoot me. If I go to mug this guy, he could have a gun on him. What's the chances of you actually pulling this off? Very slim. You know what I mean? Then you're like, oh, I'm going to go rob a bank, right? And like, you got to go rob a bank. You look in the bank. They got armed security. The tellers are armed, and at least most of the people in there are carrying a gun too. Yeah, it doesn't matter if you have 10 of you. What's the chances of you actually going to pull off armed robbery in that bank? Zero. Yeah, you could point 10 guns at them. 50 people going to turn around and point their guns at you. So, of course, you got to go choose the bank that's not armed. It's common sense. You know what I mean? But I try to explain this stuff in assembly meetings and the state house there when we have the testimonies to the Senate and the House. It just goes right through one ear and out the other because they can't comprehend common sense. And I bring this question up a lot, and they can't answer it. They won't answer it. They beat around the bush. They won't answer that question. If you're a criminal, right, and you're like, I'm going to go on rob a bank, right? Bank of America over here has armed guards here. Across the street, you have Citizens Bank, right? No armed guards there. Which one you got to go rob? And you all know Bank B, Bank Citizens Bank, the unarmed people, yeah, of course you're going to go rob that bank. Who's going to stop you? Nobody. Now, Bank A, yeah, there's some resistance there. Even if it's just a security, there's somebody there with a gun. So you got to think twice before going in there. I used to be armed guard for Bank of America, well, for a security company that was contracted for Bank of America. And yeah, just by us standing outside with, fully armed, yeah, it made people think twice before robbing it. And actually, the robbery rates of Bank of America dropped because of that, because they started hiring armed guards. Not every Bank of America has them, but the ones that do, yeah, the ones who were getting robbed typically, and the robbery rate went down to nothing as soon as they hired armed guards. You know what I mean? So it's just common sense. You know what I mean? And this is the stats, man. This is the results of gun control. And yet to date, this is ridiculous. 2,760 people have been shot in Chicago from September 26, 2021 to September 26, 2022 because of gun control. That's what gun control does. It kills. Plain and simple. 490 people dead because they couldn't defend themselves. And granted, some, were criminals and whatnot. But most of the victims out there is women and children. Women walking home with their children. They get caught in a crossfire because of two gangs going at it or whatever the case. They don't care who they shoot, or they'll shoot at each other, goes to a window and kills somebody. This happens all the time in Chicago. Innocent kids die and all that, and the mother's got to cower around the kids and hopefully they don't get shot, and they're just helpless and defenseless. Meanwhile, the criminals run around with all the guns they want. They're running with automatic weapons, high-capacity magazines, and everything else. But yeah, you the citizen, you can't have those things. You can't even have a gun half the time. And but yeah. And the cops, I mean, if they do their job in Chicago, they get in trouble for it. They get get called racist and all that stuff, and they get sued now. And the city officials are telling them, don't go, go easy on these criminals. Giving these criminals immunity in some places and bail reform and all that. But let's serve the criminals, right, and let them run rampant. But you, the law-abiding citizen, dare you have a baton or... If you were to carry this in Chicago, New York right now, right? You as a citizen, you got caught with this? Yeah, you would go to jail. You would go to jail. But if you're a criminal and you had fully automatic weapons, whatever, yeah. Oh, no, they're criminal. We don't want to get labeled as a racist or something like that. Yeah, that's how it is, man. And it's wrong, There was a guy, I brought this up last week, I think. There was a guy... He's a contractor, and he did construction work on the side. He also worked for a security company, and this is a story that was about 10 years ago. So this guy lived in New Jersey, right? So he was a security guard in New Jersey, and he had a contracted job over the border in New York, right? So he goes to do his job, right? He got pulled over by the cop. I guess he had his door open. In the door, he had a baton, it's a blunt object, you know what I mean, that security uses, right? He had a license for it and everything. And the cop's like, what's that? And because those things were illegal in New York. And he's like, oh, yeah, I'm sorry. It's like, yeah, I'm a security guard, my other job, and here's my permit, which you shouldn't have to have a permit. My license for that. Oh, this ain't New Jersey. Yeah, they arrested him for carrying a legal weapon. And he had to go face charges on carrying a legal weapon in New York City. It was I don't have one over here. But a baton is like usually a metal thing that comes out, okay, or just a pipe or whatever the case, something blunt object you could defend yourself with. And so he gets arrested for it, even though he was, had a license for it as a security guard and all that. But yeah, the criminals, oh yeah, no, we're not going to do nothing with them. So yeah, study of 178 mass shootings released by the Texas-based university. So this was gunrates.org that reported this, and over 50 years of mass shootings have been analyzed by the Texas University as a result of were published, and Tarleton State University Institute and Predictive Analysis conducted a study spearheaded by Dr. Alex Del Carmen and also the staff of the university. So let's get to the point. So these people, names and titles, blah, blah, blah. So the data revealed that 98% of mass shooters, I don't know why they put all that, who's going to remember, who even cares? I guess just for the record, they put, everybody's name and the title and blah, 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 blah. Get to the meat and potatoes of the article. So the data revealed that 98% of mass shooters are typically white males below 30 and tend to be single or in a broken marital status. So the study does point to an increase of diversity of shooters in the last 20 years. And they're saying it's some sort of mental illness, at least 50% possess a previous criminal history. 70% of people, they're saying at least 70% of the mass shooters suffer from some sort of mental illness. And at least 50% of them possess a previous criminal record. So what's the problem here? And this is the problem that the officials are not addressing. They'll blame you, you're law-abiding citizen, they go after your gun rights, right? But this is the problem, mental illness. That's the problem that needs to be addressed. You address that problem, the shootings will go down, plain and simple. But it's not being addressed. Instead, and I can't say on YouTube yet what the real problem is, okay? And I'll actually try to cover this Wednesday on the Rumble show. So, because, yeah, that's the real issue going on right now. And then, if I say that right now, they would just throw me off of YouTube right now. But, yeah, mental illness is the problem. So, plain and simple. All right, and the stuff that goes along with it, can't say nothing more. So, yeah, and again, this is the mass shootings, and I guess none of these include Chicago, by the way. None of them do. They don't even consider these mass shootings. When you got 100 people in the last 2 weeks in Chicago, they've been shot, 38 this weekend, they don't consider that mass shooting. But a few people die in a nightclub or something, that's mass shooting. And they call anything mass shooting now. Anything that involves like 3, 4, 5 people more that get shot or shot at, they call that a mass shooting now. To stigmatize people and to get the rate, the numbers up of mass shootings, so they go have to try to blame the gun rates. You know what I mean? So, but they don't. None of that. Those stats here include Chicago, which is gangbangers. Okay, plain and simple. That are doing that mostly. So, switching gears here, guys. The CIA launches a podcast hoping to demystify the agency and boost recruitment. So, there is no shortage of podcasts out there exploring the mechanics of espionage, celebrating fictionalized spies, and detailing the real-world exploits of the country's premier intelligence agency. But only as today, the officials unclassified, the CIA launched the Langley's Files. That's because they're from Langley. The Langley Files podcast on Thursday, attempting to step out from its shadows to share stories from the agency's 75-year history and provide little insight into what it takes to work there. So basically, this is a recruitment thing. And also, they're going to give out stories. Like, they're going to say it's classified and all that, but they'll give out the half-assed end of the stories, like Operation Paperclip, right? Yeah, I'm sorry, Operation Mockingbird. You know, when they infiltrate all the mainstream media, they might bring something like that up. Of course, they'll give you the soft pedal of the story to say it was a good thing to protect national security and all that stuff. Well, no, it was nothing to do with that. Operation Mockingbird was an operation conducted by the CIA in the mid-1900s to infiltrate all the mainstream media, the publications and all that, so they control the content that goes out to the people. So, there's been many cases in the mainstream media where you had great reporters, even worked for all news broadcasts, right? People want to become reporters because they want to get the truth out, you know? And what they do is the good people that do that. And so what they do is they get the truth out. They try them, you know what I mean? And they come up with these reports. And it's the editors-in-chiefs who look at the reports and cut it down, edit it out. You know, what they don't want that goes against a narrative or the sponsorship, you know what I mean? And it was Amber Lyon and Ben Swan. They were two major mainstream reporters, right? Who were reporting on corruption and the Iraq war and all that stuff and all the stuff going on. So they would have 15-minute specials and all that stuff, and they would, you know, the editors would cut it down to 30 seconds, totally disregarding what they were trying to expose. You know what I mean? The corruption. You know what I mean? And this goes on all over. I have met mainstream reporters. They were asking me if InfoWars is hiring and all that stuff because they know. You know what I mean? You know, of course, you got the crony reporters too, who are there for a reason. They're there just to be there, and they have no quest of truth in them. They're there for an agenda. You know what I mean? But you got real reporters out there who constantly want to get the truth out there. That's a passion. You know what I mean? And it's unfortunate they get stifled by their own networks. Yeah, I mean, again, I met people, press conferences from CNN, MSNBC, Fox, and all that, all telling me the same thing. You know, giving me that information to forward over to Alex because they want to work for him, because they, you know, or whoever else in the alternative media that would pay them, because they want to get the truth out there. They want to get the reports they bust their butts and risk their lives out half the time to get the information for, and then the network just cuts it up and probably not even airs it. Yeah, I mean, that is sickening, really is. But yeah, the CIA weren't launching this podcast, and what they got to do is what this is about. It's nothing to do with recruiting people. You know what I mean? I'm sure that's part of it. I'm not saying it's not. But they're going to tell fabricated stories to glorify the CIA. And to bring this whole James, you know, like make it look like a James Bond type of adventurous stuff. And when people see those movies, James Bond, you're like, oh, that'd be cool to be a secret agent and all that. No, there's nothing cool about that. And they glorify these things and they make it look so cool. But yeah, they don't tell you the sinister stuff that goes on in these things. And I'm not, you know, when I gotta say this all the time, when I talk about the CIA and stuff, I'm not saying everybody in the CIA is bad. You know what I mean? There are great people who work, the agents that work for the CIA. You know what I mean? Again, same thing with the media. People who want to bring the truth out and go after real criminals and all that. You know, when I was younger, I'll be like, that would be so cool to work for the FBI or something. You know what I mean? To go after these big criminals, going after kids and stuff like that, and go take these people down. And not knowing, at the time, that the head of the FBI, they're the ones running these operations. You know what I mean? The CIA, too. And there's so many good people in these agencies, the FBI and CIA, that think that, you know, their idea in the head's like, we're going to save many people as I can. Not knowing the people at the top of the agencies are the ones running these operations or in bed with these people, you know. And, you know, imagine that you're an FBI agent for 20 years, right? And come to find out your agency's running these operations. Yeah, imagine the disappointment you would have. Well, the CIA, you know, so, and that's why I always pray, you know, I mean, good people in the FBI and the CIA, I mean, I hope they wake up one day and actually blow the whistle on these things, or take these people inside their own organization down. But these agencies were launched for one purpose only, guys. It's just to spy on the American people. It's nothing to do, you know, of course they say it was to study foreign intelligence and all that stuff. Yeah, that's the cover. But yeah, mostly to do with spying on the American people today. You know what I mean? That's what that is. And if you look at all the operations they've launched, I mean, we covered a lot of them, man, and there's so much more. You know, and just targeting American citizens, you know, it's a criminal organization. That's what it is. And again, I'm not saying anybody in there is a criminal, but yeah. So they got this podcast, it's a radio show. We're going to glorify the 75 years of this great organization. And, that's what they're going to do to make it look so cool to recruit people, and on top of it, cover up a lot of stuff. And, of course, they say, it used to be classified information, and then they'll give you a half-assed story. Pop-ups. So, all right, so the last article here tonight, across the world, digital IDs and digital currencies are coming unless we put a stop to them. So basically, it's article somebody wrote on the expose that from Europe to Australia to Ethiopia, digital ID systems and digital currencies are being implemented bit by bit in various ways. And of course, Tony Blair and the World Economic Forum are doing their bit to push things along as well. And it should come to no surprise that PayPal is one of the organizations working with the Bank of England to implement the UK's central digital currency, the CBDC. It's central bank digital currency. You're going to see that a lot. We've been reporting on this stuff for a while. And Denmark's new digital ID system risking locking some people out of the society. So that's what they're pushing, and all over the world. We talk about this all the time. And asking people in Europe, are you ready for a digital euro currency? And it's a central bank digital currency, a digital ID, facial recognition, personal CO2 tracker, climate change passport, monthly driver limits, microchip, cashless payments, and social credit scores. That's all part of the system. And plus the healthcare stuff too. You know what I mean? And it's all in there. And the healthcare will be part of your digital ID. So a digital ID program is basically everything about you. Birth certificate, social security number, your identification, if you have a driver's license, whatever kind of license you have, all that stuff. Healthcare, stuff, or like your credit cards. Not credit cards. I'm sorry, your gym membership, stuff like that. And central bank digital currency will incorporate your credit cards and all that stuff, anything financial, and it's all on one system. The digital ID, digital currency, and all this stuff all into one system, and also to monitor your CO2 use, because of the whole climate change garbage and all that. So that's exactly, and the social credit scores, what that means is basically if you get out of line, and they're doing that in China, if you voice out against the government something, they lower your, and it's not the credit scores for your credit cards, it's different. Okay, which works with that too, but what they do is basically, if you become a social dissident, okay, to that system, your credit score lowers. So now you can't travel. You don't have enough points to travel. You don't have enough points to even go to work at some point. Yeah, it's ridiculous. The social credit score is basically monitors the person. And if you just say a government pushes a new law, right? You don't like it. You voice out about it on Facebook, right? You don't even do nothing, just voice out about it. Yeah, it's going to affect your social credit score. And it's going to limit your privileges. So all of those things that used to be a right is now a privilege. And those privileges are only profanable up until your social credit scores. You know what I mean? And the highest social credit scores, the more privileges you got. And all those privileges that used to be a right. You know what I mean? In this situation, yeah. So that's what they're doing. So that's the whole system that's been going on, and that's what they're trying to push in the United States. And if you want to know what this is, why they're setting this up for, again, I'm going to say it again. And if anybody knows the scripture, this is the components needed to push the mark of the beast. And the mark of the beast will be the physical aspect, will be a digital implant. Regardless, would it be, people think it's a microchip. It could be, it will be some sort of microchip. Yes, I'm not saying exactly what it is. Right now, it's the RFID device that we're assuming to be, because that's what the globalists are pushing. But as we go on, the technology develops. So it could turn it from that into a little tiny microchip or something different, you know what I mean? But regardless what it is going to be an implant in your right hand or in your forehead, plain and simple. And right now, they got these things. Countries are putting things in people's arms. And I'm not saying it's the mark of the beast. No. The mark of the beast is going to be when the Antichrist pushes it. Nobody else. You know what I mean? It's not going to be a shot or anything else. It's going to be when the Antichrist pushes it. When the restrainer is off the earth. Yeah, that's Michael the Archangel. Okay, sorry guys, I got allergies here. So when he's out of the way, then the Antichrist comes to power. And he pushes his mark, okay? And the thing is, to get this mark, you got to actually worship the beast. And if you don't, you don't get it. Plain and simple. And you get beheaded if you get caught, by the way, if you don't take this thing. That's what the Bible says. You know what I mean? So this whole thing, the mark of the beast, is built up on many components. It's not just one simple thing. Now, it's many it's a system of complexity to the normal person. That's why people so badly misinterpret what the mark of the beast is, because they don't understand the complexity of the technology involved with this, right? It's the components. Okay, if you look at your computer, it's one single computer, right? And that's the normal person looks at it, like your phone too, right? You look at it as a phone. Oh, my phone could do this and that, right? You know how many components are in this phone? The components involved to make this thing work the way it does? It's staggering. But the people don't look at it that way. It's the same thing with the mark of the beast. They think it's just one simple thing. That's why they could easily misinterpret what the mark of the beast is. But they don't have a grasp of the concept of the components behind it. There's tons of components, and these are some of the components right here. You have to be a central bank digital currency, a digital ID, facial recognition, which is digital, a personal CO2 track, a climate change passport, and other passports I can't say on YouTube. Monthly driving limits. They're gonna track you by the miles of your car if you get to drive a car. All this stuff's involved, all of it. So when this Antichrist pushes the system, says you got to worship me, and then if you worship me, then you can take the mark of the beast, right? And they won't call it the mark of the beast, by the way. They'll call it something great. You know what I mean? Something that makes it sound like you're contributing to society and the planet to get this thing. And, it's ridiculous. They're going to sell this thing. And right now, people like thinking this, have microchips in you that you don't have to use passwords and all that. They think it's such a wonderful idea. People are already buying into it, you know what I mean? And so that's why I'm so adamant on telling people show after show as much as I can about the mark of the beast, because there's so many people out there making, ministries as well, making videos of what they think the mark of the beast is. And it's a complex system, you know what I mean? And it will be an implant. Some sort of microchip. I'm not saying it's RFID. It could be right now, if it was to be pushed tomorrow, yes, it would be the RFID chip. But they could have something, brand new technology that to them something small or something, whatever. We don't know, you know what I mean? But it will be the Antichrist to push it, not Dr. Fauci, not the World Health Organization, or, that's why you got to laugh, because these people, when something happens, right, and they'll take some Bible prophecy, right? Like when CERN went off, right? They'll take, I think it was Revelation 8 or 10, when the bottomless pit was open. Then I'm like, everybody's like, it could be the prophecy from Revelation, right? Then I'm like, time out. And when, what came out, people thought that was the mark of the beast, right? I'm like, time out, okay? You got to look first, okay? You take a portion of prophecy, right? Yeah, there's probably a lot of similarities to them. Yes, absolutely. But look where that prophecy is in the timeline, right? Just say it's on the timeline. It's on step 8, right? If step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 hasn't happened yet, that's not what you're talking about. Step 1 through 7 has to happen first before step 8. You can't just skip over. You know what I mean? So look, if you think something's part of prophecy, right? And you're going to have many things going to be very similar, because what it does is it gets you used to the idea. So when it does come, then most people accept it. So they do preemptive strikes, you know what I mean? And to get you accepted it. So basically, you say, just say it's prophecy 4. We're just using, this is why Jesus talked in parables, so people can understand them. So just say it's prophecy number 4, right? And if prophecy, 3 didn't come first, right? In other words, prophecy 3 hasn't come to play, but you got something going on that looks like prophecy 4. That's not prophecy 4. Because 3 hasn't happened yet. The Bible is very specific. Things have to happen first. So coming to the mark of the beast, everybody's panicking during the last 2 years with the lockdowns and all that, thinking that is the mark of the beast. And I'm like, time out, guys, time out. Calm your butts down. You know what I mean? It's like, what happens first? Okay, and I should have brought it up on the Bible here. But before the mark of the beast is initiated, right, what's got to go on first? The restraint is got to be removed out of the way, right? We have to have a one world government, which we're on the doorstep of that right now, right on the doorstep. A one world religion, the whole 9 yards, which is all being set up right now and everything. And number 1, the Antichrist is going to be in power. He's the one that makes it mandatory for the whole world, not just certain countries. And I tell people that, you know what wasn't the mark of the beast. Because the courts shot it down. When the mark of the beast is pushed, there's going to be no courts to shoot it down. There's going to be no resistance in legislatively anyway against it. It's going to be implemented worldwide, plain and simple, and it's going to be mandatory, plain and simple. There's going to be no courts to battle against it. I told people that from day one. Everybody's like, oh, no, this is it, blah, blah, blah. No, I told you. And here we are, 2022, and yeah. Where people nobody got beheaded for not taking it. I didn't take it. I still could go to the store, buy, sell, and save. I go to the bank and do that. So you want to tell me again that this is still the MOB? It's not. I'm referring to I can't say this on YouTube, so you know what I'm talking about. So right there, here we are, 2002, and I told people this is not it. You know what I mean? And people need to understand the complexity that's involved with this stuff. And, you know, it's funny because people just skip over all the other prophecy. You know, this is it right here. Well, you forgot to mention, okay, the Antichrist has to come first before the mark of the beast is implemented. He's the one, because it says he causes all, small, great, rich, and poor, to receive a mark in the right hand or forehead. And it doesn't go in your arm. Your arm is not your right hand or forehead. You know what I mean? And most people got it in the left arm. It goes in the right hand or in the forehead, okay? It's not figuratively speak. It's literally in the right hand or the forehead. I've told people this, and here we are, 2022, and we're going on to 23 in the next couple months here. And I could go to the store right now, buy, sell, and save. I could go to the bank and do that. I could drive a car and do all that stuff. So I told people that. And again, this is the system, okay? It's made of many components, the mark of the beast. And it's more than this too, by the way. And when the whole thing's intact, okay, when they got all the ducks in a row, all their pawn set in place, okay, and I don't know how to put any clear, okay, when everything's all lined up, then they push that to total one world government and all the economies of the world are into one system. That's when, okay, and when the Antichrist comes, that's when the mark of the beast comes. Plain and simple. There's no negotiating, and I almost got to the point, man, I was getting aggravated with people. It really is. There was one called Repentance Ministry. I would love to hear what they have to say now. Oh, man, I would love to, because I got badgered by them. Well, Repentance Ministries, I think they were called, and some other ones. This one on Brother Nathaniel, whatever the heck the titles were. All saying that was the mark of the beast. And yeah. I would love to hear what they have to say now. Obviously, that's been proven false. You know what I mean? And all those people that swore by that. But and I told them right now, you guys skipped over several prophecies. We're not there yet. We're close, but we are not there yet. Some other prophecies have to come first before that happens. The Bible makes that very clear, man. And it's just people don't get it. Yeah, they don't get it. And I got, you know what I mean? And they'll swear up and down, cause fights and everything else. And here we are. We had this lady that was one of our listeners for a while. She swore that was the mark of the beast. And yeah, here we are. 2023 almost coming up here. And yeah. Skipping over other prophecies, man. Speak of that, so we're done with the news broadcast here. We're going to get some biblical scripture here. So we'll just go over a couple of things here. So, and the Bible isn't just a book about how to be nice and do good. It's your greatest offensive weapon wield against the devil in spiritual warfare. So it's literally a weapon. That's what it is. It's not just a book with ink and all that. And it's the words in there that talk, the power, you know. So, little meme here, Christian in New Asia, and your Mother Earth is my father's footstool. Yeah, because it's Isaiah 66:1, that the earth is God's footstool. So, of course, we got these New Ages out there, and these people, oh, Mother Earth, you're going to save Mother Earth, and act like the earth's an entity like that. No, it's just a creation from God. There's no Mother Earth. And I know these New Ages, they go crazy when you say that. Because of the Babylonian crap, you know what I mean? There is no Mother Earth. This is God's footstool. Plain and simple. And they get all offended when you say that. What's the truth, though? And this is pretty cool. It's called laminin. It's a protein that holds us together. And as Colossians 1:17 says, by him, Yeshua, Jesus, all things are held together. And this is what's in our body. It's called a laminin protein that holds us together. And it's kind of funny. It's like the sign of a cross. And we know, generically the cross itself is just a symbol that we're not supposed to even use. But that's the sign of the cross is like, that's how Jesus was killed. and we resurrected later. But that was part of the sign of the prophecy to him fulfilling. So we don't have to do sacrifices no more. He was our sacrifice. He was sacrificed on the cross, but that's what the sign was for. Not that we're supposed to use a cross, you know what I mean? Because we're not supposed to use any symbols. So, but that's kind of pretty cool, though. It really is. So regardless if you, whatever side you're on us with this, but yeah, the protein laminate holds us together, holds everything together in our body, the structures and all that. And the Bible says, by him, all things are held together. And Jesus does say, pick up your cross and follow him. You know what I mean? Not that we're supposed to use the symbol of a cross, but in terms, like, in the spiritual sense, So all you do is read the first 4 chapters of the Bible, and you find this out. And you got to do this. Check this out. Read the first 4 chapters. I love this meme, man. Read the first 4 chapters of the Bible, right? Read it carefully and slowly. Understand it, right? Then you quickly learn evolution is a lie. And be like, yeah, right, what it is, and it's a huge lie. And 2, there are only 2 genders, male and female. There's no he, they, they, thou, whatever. It's he and she, plain and simple. And number 3, you learn marriages between a man and woman. Not woman, man and man, man and woman. Bottom line, 1 man, 1 woman. That's it. And number 4, feminism is a lie. Because men are supposed to be masculine. That's what a man was created to be. Not hide behind the wives and be like all fairy, like, ooh, wearing the pink stockings while the wife is all butch and all that stuff. That's not how it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be the other way around, that the man's defending his family and working for his family and supporting his family, and the woman is the nucleus of the family. You know what I mean? She's the one who cares for the kids and the emotional and spiritual support of of the father and everything else. And the father, you talk to the father, the man and wife, I'm just trying to put it in a good sense here. The man and wife are supposed to negotiate each other and make decisions for the house, but ultimately the father is the control of the house. You know what I mean? Not a dictatorial either, but control of the house, and he negotiates with the wife of certain things. You know what I mean? And but everybody's got a role in the family. You know what I mean? That's the way the father, Heavenly Father is God I'm talking about, that wants it that way. You know what I mean? And it's not being sexist or anything like that. That's just the order of things. You know what I mean? And the good things that women are better at than men equal out to the, equally what the men are better at than the woman. You know what I mean? So it becomes equal. It's like 2 magnets together, right? You can't, I gotta get some magnets, but if you got magnets, right? 2 magnet sticks, you got both of them have a North Pole and both of them have a South Pole, right? You can't put 2 North Poles together. You can't put 2 South Poles together. They rebel against each other. They have to be inverted to, get together. So that's the way it's made, man and woman. And all religions' roads don't lead to God. So you learn that all religions out there, every single one of them, even the 40,000 different denominations, Christianity, paganism, all that, none of them are of God. The Bible is of God. The Bible's not a religion, plain and simple. And all the religions they'll take the Bible and cherry pick from it, and they'll take certain verses out of context to say, oh, you got to do this and that, give us your money and this and that. And of course, the people in the churches, they'll sit there and, oh yeah, the Bible says it, but they don't read it in its context. And the churches never do either. They'll frog hop all over the Bible to, they'll take verses and misuse them to put up a story to make you follow a certain order when none of it's biblical. You know what I mean? And it's sickening. Every religion does, every single one of them. You know what I mean? Even Islam, they use some of the Bible in the Quran. You know what I mean? And they, of course, out of context. And all the Christian religions do the same thing. The dispensationalism and all that. To say, oh, you have to give us money. The Bible says that. The Bible says no such thing. Tithes was nothing to do with money at all. It was just help the people in the temples at the time because they were not allowed to work. The temple priests had to stay to the temples. That's it. And the people around them, help them with food and chores around the temple and money if it needed it. Yeah, okay, and for upgrades or whatever the case. But other than that, it was not about 10% of your paycheck. You know what I mean? So these religions out there, all of them, every one of them out there, Baptists, Buddhists, all of them, all of them, okay, are not of God. So you'll learn all that just reading the first 4 chapters of the Bible. It's amazing. And people say, well, how could that be? Because my pastor reads the Bible all the time. Yeah. And notice how they cherry pick. They don't cover half the stuff they're supposed to. When it comes to spiritual warfare, half the churches are dumb as a doornail. And you hear the same message over and over again, just in a different way. So you regurgitate it over and over and over and over and over and over again. It's just a make you feel good place. And meanwhile, they're controlling you. You know, your political agendas half the time, and your money and everything else. So you need to read the Bible for yourself, plain and simple. And the Sabbath, this is people, all the time I hear this, oh, the Sabbath's only for the Jews. Oh, that was abolished when Jesus went to the cross. And, all this stuff that's not even in the Bible. And you challenge these people, and they give you verses out of context. And they say, oh, the commandments were nailed to the cross. Paul said that in Galatians, I think. It's like, no, he said the ordinances were. That's the penalties, not the laws. They were blotted out, nailed to the cross, the ordinances, not the commandments. And if you want to know the Sabbath, right, even before Mount Sinai, right, when they were given to Moses, it was already a law. From day one of creation, day 7, the 7th day of creation, he sanctified the 7th day. Today, okay, the Bible, throughout the whole New Testament, Jesus repetitively talked about the 10 Commandments. And the 10 Commandments include the 4th one, which is the Sabbath. The Bible says it's forever, plain and simple. And people say, well, it's, God said, Jesus says, all be fulfilled, and it was fulfilled when he went into the, back, he was resurrected. No, that's not what he's talking about. He said, till heaven and earth pass away. That's after the judgment, after everything, and God makes a new heaven and a new earth. That's when all is fulfilled. It hasn't been fulfilled yet. That's not what Jesus was talking about. Because people just misinterpret Bible scripture, man. It's sickening. And I got to hear that a lot, because there's just still people out there who still think that the Sabbath is not, we should, it was something that only the Jews do. No, that's not true. The Bible, even before a Jew walked the face of the earth, that was already established as a law by God himself. And they would just reiterate it into the 10 Commandments. Every one of the 10 Commandments, guys, they were already law before Moses. Before Moses was even a spot in his father's eye, they were already law. It was already against the law to steal, commit adultery, worship other gods. Look at before Moses, right? Before Sinai, right? How many cities did God destroy for committing idolatry? Worshiping false gods. How many people were killed at a penalty for committing adultery, murder, all that stuff, right? These were already law. Me and Nolan Kidwell from Cascaded Cutlery, we did a whole show on that, man, and showing that these things were already law before Mount Sinai. And today, they're the law too. Doesn't matter if you the biblical belief. You go right here in the United States, right? Go steal something. Go murder somebody. You go to jail. In some states to this day, committing adultery is a big, big no-no. It's against the law. But, of course, today it's not enforced. Here in Rhode Island, there's a big, big issue. If you were caught committing adultery, man, you would go to jail. That was very a huge, huge law. You know what I mean? Plain and simple. Now today it's just overlooked and it's encouraged. You know what I mean? It's sickening. You know what I mean? These things, stealing, lying, cheating, all that stuff. Yeah, there are already laws before and after Mount Sinai. Even to this day, most places. And look at Persia and half these Middle East countries. Go steal something, see what happens to you. The minimum you'd be lucky to do is have your hand cut off. Yeah, you can't get away with these things in half these countries. You know what I mean? To this day. So just to say these things are just for the Jews, you're a nutcase and have no clue what the hell you're talking about. And I've told so-called prominent ministers that, you know what I mean, or people in the ministries and all that. Yeah, because they go out there and the Bible says, Matthew, Jesus tells people right out, to people who tell people, don't obey the commandments and teach people to do that, you got to be called least in the kingdom of God. And if you obey the commandments and teach men to do so, you'll be called greatest in the kingdom of God. So I don't know about you all, but, I want to be called great in the kingdom of God, not least. And here's an odd fact that there are, this is so funny because, not funny, and it's not because Christians, these religions don't do this. But odd fact, there are 8 holy days listed in the Bible. And Christianity does not observe one single one of them. That's right. The 40,000 different denominations of Christianity, Catholic Church too, that claim to be of Jesus. Yeah. Not one of these holidays do they worship. Honor, I'm sorry. Not one. Which we got the Feast of Tabernacles, I think, coming up, and Sukkot and all that. Today, I think, is Rosh Hashanah. Yeah, these are biblical, not just for the Jews. These are biblical holidays. And you'd think churches would have, claim to be of Jesus Christ, right? Have these, but nope, they worship pagan holidays. We got the disgusting holiday, Halloween, coming up. By the way, guys, we got David Carrico coming on. We got a list of, he's coming on October 28th. We're doing a Halloween show. So, yeah, it's going to be awesome. So, yeah, and it's sickening that these churches out there and these Christian churches claim to be of God, but they don't do one single thing that's biblical. They'll honor Christmas, Easter, Good Friday, this, that, and the other. None of them are biblical. None of them have anything to do with Jesus Christ. None of them. But in fact, the holidays that Jesus himself took part of, celebrated, you would think that for a minute, right? You'd be like, hold on a second. Jesus and his apostles took parts of these feasts. They honored the feasts, okay? The tabernacles, all these, holidays they have in the Jewish feast, the Jewish feasts they call them, right? You would think they would, Passover is the biggest one. Hanukkah and all that. Jesus took part of these holidays. He had nothing to do with Christmas. He wasn't even born in December. He didn't resurrect on Easter Sunday. It was the eve of the morning, not, and Good Friday, he wasn't crucified on Friday. It's just so, bizarre. And these holidays that we celebrate today have nothing, zero, zilch to do with Jesus Christ. Nothing. But the ones that he took part of and told people to take part of in the Scripture, in the New Testament, Christians avoid it like the plague. That goes to show you that there's something wrong, man. The lack of knowledge in Hosea chapter 4 says, my people are destroyed by the lack of knowledge because they chose to reject the truth. People like us putting this truth out there, we get shunned, we get criticized by people in the faith. Oh no, Dan, those are old ways. The new covenant. And they seem to think that this new covenant changes the feast, abolishes the commandments, and it's all dispensationalist garbage. So they're like, they were abolished at the cross, when the Bible says no such thing. The 10 Commandments are just for the Jews and not for people who follow Jesus, even though Jesus followed them. But yeah, that's not what the Bible says, guys. Okay, wake the hell up. You know what I mean? Stop listening to the morons behind your pulpits. This really aggravates me, man. Yeah, and 8 holy days that the Bible talks about, that Jesus himself, okay, the apostles themselves, the early church fathers themselves, even Puritans in this country and whatnot, Quakers, took part of these feasts, right? Today, not one single one of these Christian denominations out there even remotely observing any of these things. But they'll have massive celebrations, Easter egg hunts at the church, which is the Babylonian thing. They'll have Christmas trees decorated all around the churches and all that. You know what I mean? It's like, what? You know what I mean? Like, it's just sickening. And that's why I'm going to, people say, well, don't you go to a church? And no, I don't. There is not one single church in the state of Rhode Island that does anything biblical like that. I've been all over the place. I scoured these churches, and the fact that they Sunday worship too, that's another thing. Oh, the excuses. Oh, God knows my heart. What the hell does that even mean? That has nothing to do with this, okay? Then, God knows your heart, and he knows you're willingly sinning against him. Oh, we're taking this day back for God or for Jesus. How are you taking something back that he told you to stay the hell away from in the first place? You know what I mean? Every excuse I've learned to combat every one of the little cop-outs. Number one, God knows my heart. Yeah, he knows your heart, and he knows you're teaching false information. So what does that even mean? Because they say Christmas has nothing to do with Jesus. It's a pagan, satanic holiday. Well, God knows my heart, and so if I want to worship on Sunday, He knows my heart. Yeah. But if you knew His heart, you would not be doing that on Sunday. You'd be obeying the Sabbath. So oh man, the excuses out there. Oh man. We're taking a step back for Jesus. It never belonged to Him in the first place. He told you to stay away from it. He says, follow not the ways of the heathens. Don't do what they do. The Bible specifies a Christmas tree. About taking a pine tree, nailing it down, fasten it so it doesn't move in your house. Decorating it with silver and gold. That's a freaking Christmas tree. That's written in Isaiah telling you not to do this crap. But yeah, we're going to put up the Christmas tree. And we're going to sing praises and everything, Christmas songs and all that. I'm like, you just want to take these people, wring them by the neck. And these people claim to be righteous, and oh man, it aggravates the hell out of me. Oh, my church has been doing this for years, and there's nothing wrong with it. Yeah, there's a big thing wrong with that, you moron. And we're right in this eve now, like starting October is, we got a lot of biblical feasts going on, but on the flip side, we got a lot of pagan fests going on. We got a lot of evil festivals going on. Satanic holidays, well, let me show you that. Yeah, coming up here. Let me see if I can get that on. Hang on one second, guys. Because we're in the eve of these satanic holidays, too. It's not counting the witch holidays, the pagan holidays, and depending on what level of paganism. Satanic. Oops, there it is right here. My mouse is like acting all weird. So we're right about October here, right? So this is where it starts kicking off. September 22nd was the other day. You get the feast day, the fall equinox, the end of summer. This is the rituals are done. And this here is categorized by the date, the celebration, the type of ritual, usage, and the age of the ritual. You know what I mean? So we got this stuff going on here. The next thing coming up is October 13th to the 30th. These are some of the 31st, I'm sorry. So some of the biggest rituals going on. And blood rituals and sexual. They use human sacrifices, any age of male, female, and sexual climax associated with demons, animals, and or human sacrifice. And it's going on right through December. December 24th, Demons Revel. And it goes right into January. You know what I mean? That's... But yes, somehow they turn these things into, Christian things, which are not Christian at all. There's nothing biblical about these things. And Christmas and Easter, they're blood fests. That's what they are. And they even celebrate Christian churches like Valentine's Day. You know what goes on in Rome, even to this day? Ancient Roman Valentine's Day. Lupercabre. Yeah, the weirdest things. They dress with goat skin on them, run around, they take the tail of a goat and whip women with it and rape them. Kids still. Yeah, and they celebrate this here in America as, and they try to turn it biblical, the churches. There's nothing to do. The Bible says stay away from this stuff. They take demons and try to glorify them, like the Cupid. They say it's an angel Cupid. Yeah, no, it's a demon. Yeah, and the Lupercabre holiday is disgusting, man. They do blood rituals and all that, and they run around even to this day in Rome, and whipping people with bloody tails, and they dip them in blood and whip the women with it. Kids too, they'll rape them right in the streets. Yeah, and they glorify it. Yeah, it's commercialize it. It's so bizarre, really. And they have the goal to call the Christian holidays. Yeah, nothing Christian about that, guys, at all. So sorry to go off on a tangent here. So I figure kill some time here. So guys, if you like the broadcast, we got a PayPal, Venmo, and CashApp. So if you want to support the operation, and also guys, we got this new thing here. Hang on one second. I forgot to put it in my news thing here. Oh, hold on one second, guys. I want to try to get this up real quick. Damn mouse. My mouse is on the blink here, so. So, guys, we got like a version of a super chat here. So, I'm going to put in the chat room. Where is it? So, if anybody wants to drop a couple of bucks to support this operation of ministry, that's you don't have to. It's not required by the Bible, by the way. It's just out of goodwill. That's all it is. We don't do the tithe stuff. You know what I mean? The tithes is nothing to do with money. But I put in the chat room there. It's a page where you could donate a couple bucks or up to as much as you want. And it goes to our PayPal as well. So we have that. And it's like a super chat. And you could actually donate. And I forgot to set it up on this program here. So other than that, guys, thank you for joining the show. And there's a PayPal. And also, guys, check out this Friday we got coming up. Spiritual Warfare Friday. It's going to be awesome. So we're going to have Trey Harris on from Course Correction Radio. So me, him, and Brian, we're going to talk about this. I forgot the guy's name. He claims to be the real rightful king of England. You know what I mean? So anyway, he claims to be the Messiah as well. We're going to talk about false Christ. You know, people out there, and we're going to bring up that book of Trump too. Many people out there who claim to be a Christ or a Messiah or something like that, and they're going to deceive a lot of people. So, yeah, thank you guys. Uncle Obvious and Valerie, thank you guys for moderating the chat, by the way. And let me see. What's up, Ian? God bless you. What's up, Bill? James, Jesus, Sones. What's up, Sister Max? Tracy, what's Jane, Shirley, Cooper, and whoever else is in the chat, guys. Thank you. Joyful One as well. Thank you for joining the chat and everything else. So appreciate it a lot. So please support the people over on ICTV, our brothers and sisters over there. Support their awesome shows, guys. All kinds of cool stuff going on. And yeah, good stuff, man. So, all right, guys, we're going to cut out of here. So it's, Wednesday we're going to be up on, we're going to do on Wednesday. So Wednesday at 8 o'clock, we're going to be on YouTube here for an hour. And then we're going to switch over to Rumble the second hour, because the Rumble show, we're going to bring up stuff you can't talk about on YouTube. So, yeah. So anyway, guys, please also subscribe to our backup YouTube channel. I'm going to put that link one more time in the chat room here. So just take a second here, or you just click on this link right here. When you get on the link, hit subscribe and hit the back button. You come back here, whatever the case. But the show's ending anyway. So, all right, guys. So we are out of here. So God bless. Shalom. See you Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern. We'll put the links on TruthRadioShow.com. If for some reason, guys, this channel disappears, please go to our backup channels and go to TruthRadioShow.com, because they're really out to get this channel, man. And they've been unsubscribing people on me. They've been shadow banning me. People who subscribe to me and put the alert there, they're not getting the alerts. They're like really shadow banning the channel. It's disgusting, you know what I mean? And they're hitting me with all kinds of strikes now. And they shut my main channel down months ago. I had almost 30,000 subscribers gone, just like that. And people coming up to me say, Dan, why'd you take me off your subscriber list? I said, don't fall for that, guys. It's YouTube doing it. I don't take anybody off. Even people who troll me, I don't take anybody off. You know what I mean? That even people troll me, whatever the case, I don't unsubscribe nobody. You know what I mean? So if you're unsubscribed from here and you want to know why, because it's YouTube, not me. So we don't do any of that. I'm the only one who controls that. The control to unsubscribe somebody other than YouTube. So it's YouTube doing that stuff. So I apologize to anybody that thinks I unsubscribed them or whatever the case, and that's not the truth, you know. They're shadow banning me, and even people with alerts are not getting them, you know, and it's sickening, really is. So just keep in mind always, guys, go to TruthRadioShow.com. If you don't see me on this channel no more because YouTube took it down, they just took down our video from 2 weeks ago. It's sickening. I got a battle to try to get that back up, but man, it's just like one thing after another with YouTube. So that's why we're on multiple platforms to protect the show, you know. So TruthRadioShow.com, and we'll always have the show posted there where we're going to be broadcasting. Oh, and you can actually watch it right off the website. So either way, we're going to be on the air no matter what. Whatever they throw at us, we're going to have something to combat it back with. So, all right, guys, love you all. God bless. Shalom, and you are the resistance. Declaring war on the New World Order. TruthRadioShow.com. Thank you for supporting TruthRadioShow.com in our continuous fight against the New World Order. If you want to donate and help contribute toward our daily news show and our spiritual warfare ministries, contribute any amount to the following links in the description. That's our PayPal, our Venmo, or our CashApp. Or just simply take take out your camera and scan the code bars on the screen. And we thank you once again for help supporting the fight against the New World Order. And remember, you are the resistance. God bless. Defending liberty in the spirit of 1776. It's Dan Bidondi on TruthRadioShow.com.